Hello, everyone. Welcome to Black Talk Show. I have Miss Tammy Moore with Footprints to Africa, and I have my co-host, Coach Janine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Christina.
Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Okay, Miss Tammy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Certainly. As you know, I'm Tammy Darmel Moore. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, born and raised here in the upstates. I'm a military brat. I enjoy traveling internationally. I love to tap into different cultures, eat different foods, see how others are living. I am the proud mother of two beautiful young adults, Kilwan and Sejan, and the proud founder of Footprints in Africa, which is an international nonprofit that aids those in the motherland.
Okay. Okay. Coach Janine, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Christina. I'm Coach Janine, and I am the founder of With You Solution, which is the global consulting firm that we help global business leader mindsets, people who are ready to bring the business global. So I'm so excited to be here today on Black to Black show.
Okay, thank y'all for both for coming. Okay, Miss Tammy, can you tell us a little bit about founding the Footprints of Africa? Can you give us some insight on that?
Certainly. Footprints in Africa was founded in 2020, back during the pandemic when it first started, right on the heels of the pandemic, and everyone thought I was absolutely crazy. It came about when I traveled to Ethiopia for the very first time in 2019 during the fall. When I got to Ethiopia, that was my first time in Africa, although I'd done a lot of traveling. I've been to actually four continents in about 32 to 34 countries. And plus, I'm a military brat, so I've lived in Germany along with some other places. So traveling is nothing new to me, but going to the motherland for the very first time was mind blowing. I get to Ethiopia, and this was the first place where I took off my shoes when I stepped off the plane because I wanted the soles of my feet to literally touch the ground of Africa. And it was
Yes.
a bit overwhelming. The first place I'd gone to where I felt like I was at home, like literally at home, kindred spirits, where I met the individuals there, and it was as if I knew them, although of course I didn't. Um, while in Ethiopia, I was there for 2 weeks in the bush for 3 days, no running water, no electricity. The tribal people, most were very nomadic with no clothing on. If anything, just a strap across their private parts in the front. And they were in awe of us, and I was in awe of them. It was truly like seeing something on National Geographic. Um, I couldn't speak the language, but for some reason, and we know what the reason is, we understood each other.
Yeah.
We truly understood each other. I understood the body language, the hand gestures, the smiles. We sung together, we danced together. It was just a very fulfilling feeling. I
Mhm.
guess they would say. You can't even put words to it. I tell people all the time, I can tell you all day long about Africa, but you need to go and see for yourself.
Yeah.
There's just truly words can't express it. While in the bush for 3 days, met this young lady, a teenager, and she asked me for the shoes I had on my feet. I had on a pair of black Nike Air Max. And I looked down at her feet, and she had on shoes, but they were very worn. Actually, one foot was protruding out of her shoe, and the other one was not. It didn't look as bad, but they were both worn. And I couldn't give her my shoes because I was like 5 miles from the van I was riding on. The van was parked at the base of the hill. And I'm thinking, if I give this young lady my shoes, I'm going to have to walk a great distance. And I'm not used to walking in, rough terrain like they
Mhm.
are with no shoes on. So I
Mhm.
felt bad about it. I mean, it really stuck with me the entire trip. So when I got back to the States, I said, when I return back to Ethiopia, which I plan on going back, I will take these shoes back to this one young lady in this particular tribe. And so when I got back to the States, I started making adjustments to return back to Ethiopia. And I had all these great ideas as to what I was going to do. Hadn't thought about starting a nonprofit at this time. All I knew is that this young lady needed shoes, and I had plenty at the house. So I'm going to give her the ones that she asked for, the Nike Air Max. Lo and behold, COVID hit. And so I couldn't travel back to Ethiopia during that time. And so I'm thinking this thing called COVID is a pandemic. I know the word pandemic, but I haven't lived through one. I don't really know what it means in every sense of the word. Long story short, I had a lot of idle time on my hand. This pandemic turned into a few days, a week, a couple of months, a few years. As you know, we're still dealing with it. And so I said, instead of me sitting here hitting my hands together, because I'm a doer, I'm a make girls things happen kind of gal. I said, instead of me sitting here making my wheels turn and trying to figure out what I'm going to do, I can collect shoes. Instead of me taking back that one pair of shoes for that one young lady, I can take back a bunch of pair of shoes. So I reached out to my family members and my friends and told them what I was doing. Since all of us are cleaning out our closets, cleaning out our garages during this pandemic, while you guys are cleaning, I want those shoes you don't wear. In less than 2 weeks, I had over 100 pair of shoes.
Oh,
I kid you not. I didn't use social media. I strictly reached out to my family members and my friends. Hence how Footprints in Africa was going.
okay. But dang, that sounds good. Okay. So that you answered the question about the inspiration, because that was going to be my next question. So, as a visionary and an influencer, what do you believe are the most critical challenges that Africa face today, and how does the organization address those challenges?
There's many critical changes, but I think the critical challenges. I'm sorry. I think one of the biggest ones is that people think here in the States, when I say people here in the States, think that Africa is this poverty-stricken community or poverty-stricken continent as a whole, and that they don't have the will or the desire to make things happen. They're looked at as being poor, less than. When we all know, if you think about it, that's where the natural resources are. Africa is very rich in many ways, very talented people, very self-sufficient people, go-getters, make things happen type of people. They know how to take their resources, their everyday resources around them, and make things happen. They simply need people to sow into them. They need the opportunity to actually be able to level up. And so here we are here in the States, we have plenty to choose from. Like I mentioned earlier about the shoes, you and I can get up every morning, we can choose which pair we want to put on, if we want to wear a pair at all. Whereas in Africa, in the rural areas, let me be clear on that, remote areas in Africa, they don't have that luxury of choosing which pair of shoes to put on, if they even have shoes. So to answer your question directly, I think the biggest challenge is the misconception that Africa is poor, that people are needy, that people are lazy, and that they are in so much need that there's no way we can do anything here in the States to make a difference. Their need is too great. That's truly a myth. Truly a myth.
Okay. So, for the love of Africa seems to be driving force behind your mission. Could you elaborate on what the phrase means to you personally and how it guides your efforts?
For the love of Africa is exactly that, the love of Africa. As I mentioned earlier, I've done a lot of extensive travel. I'm a military brat. When my last child, my youngest, graduated from undergraduate school, I said I was going to travel the world and see how others are living. And so within a short period of time, 2 years, I went to 4 continents in 32, 34 countries. And Ethiopia, my first time traveling to the motherland in 2019, the experience was totally different. It was as if I was visiting family, kindred spirits. And anytime you've been gone from family for a very long time, you come back and visit, it's overwhelming. It just, you don't even have to put into words. You just pick back up where you left off at. And that's what it was like when I went to Ethiopia. Just eating the food. I'd never had it before, but I was eating with my fingers because that's how they eat. And it felt so natural because DNA is strong, you know?
Yeah.
It passes down from generation to generation. So it was as if this is what it's supposed to be. This is normal for me, you know? So I didn't feel out of sort. I didn't feel as if I was a spectacle and everyone was looking at me. I felt as if I was with family. And so when I hashtag for the love of Africa, it's truly for the love of Africa. The history, the culture, the traditions, everything that embodies.
Okay. I have one question, then I'm gonna let Coach Janine take over. One more question. As a change maker, what advice do you have for others who aspire to create positive change and make a lasting impact, especially in the realm of social entrepreneurship?
Great question. My feedback for those that have this burning desire to be a change maker, to be a social entrepreneur, to go against the grain, to disrupt the narrative, make it happen. Go at it. There will be naysayers, but keep in mind, you don't need them to sign off on what you're doing. You don't need them to validate that you're on the right track. The mission and vision was not given to them, it was given to you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My thing is, our tagline at Footprints in Africa is go the distance. Go the distance. So whether others choose to go with you or not, you do what's been put in your heart. You make things happen. And I trust and believe once folks see that you are that driving force, that you're gonna go at it, if you have to go at it alone, they'll catch on to the mission and vision and they'll support you if it's intended for them to support you. But you can't allow your surroundings or the naysayers or those that sit back and watch with one eye up, one eye down to actually sign off on you doing what you're supposed to be doing. It only takes one person to be that spark in order to get that fire started. So I encourage you to be the change that you want to see. Go the distance, make things happen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Coach Janine, any questions?
I love that. Make changes, go to the distance. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Ms. Tammy. I really love that. My first question to you is how was your mental preparation, for you? I know you love to travel and this is not something new to you, but how was your preparation to go, when you were getting ready to go, in Ethiopia? How was the process? And then, because you said that, once you got there, you really wanted your foot to really, hit the ground. And I love that because you really wanted to hands-on expressing yourself. But how was the process for you, to be able to a mental shift? How was the mental shift?
Mentally, first of all, I'm one of those types of individuals. I'm a risk taker. I believe in throwing stuff against the wall and see if it sticks. And if it doesn't, we try again. It's just who I am. It's my makeup. It's in my DNA. I think as a race of people, we have a tenacity to make things happen. I guess I would say a tenacity to make things happen. We're go-getters by nature. When things don't go right, we don't necessarily give up, we all have tough times, but my mental mindset at that point was to take in as much as possible. Take advantage of where you're going, because I've been to many places, but I've never been to the motherland up until 2019. Now, of course, I've been there several times now, but at that time, this was my first time going in 2019, so I was intentional. I was intentional about soaking up as much as possible. I was intentional about getting with the locals. We all like to hang out around the pool and go to nice luxury hotels and resorts and things when we travel. But I myself enjoy getting with the locals, eating at their dinner tables, hearing their stories, going to those places that we don't necessarily see on, the travel guide or the travel channels. I want to go to those areas that's not talked about, that only the locals know about. And so I was intentional about connecting with individuals there. I was intentional about eating different foods. I was intentional about taking as many pictures as possible. And no matter where I travel, whether it's Africa or any other country, I make sure I get with a senior, an elder, someone older, because they have stories that you can't pay for. They have experiences that will equip you for life, And so I'm intentional about that. Even here at home in Greenville, South Carolina, I'm intentional about being around my elders, taking the time to sup with them, I guess you would say, not literally eating food, but to gather knowledge and to get equipped. So that was my mindset when preparing to go to the motherland for the very first time.
I really love that. That's awesome. So in that same, line of thought, can you also share with us definitely, what was your personal growth and your professional growth on that journey? What's some of the things that you learned about self you didn't know before your trip, or especially in both sides, in your personal life and as a also as a as a professional, as an entrepreneur?
I would say one of the biggest things I've learned about myself is I truly know how to pivot. We hear the word pivot a lot, especially since COVID, the pandemic. It's one thing to say the word because it's the new hot button word, but to truly know how to pivot when you've been given a task such as starting an international nonprofit during a pandemic, folks thought I was absolutely crazy. They said, "How in the world are you going to try to help people in Africa when people here in the States are really struggling?" Well, my answer to that was there's so many indigent programs here in the States. You got Meals on Wheels, Salvation Army, Miracle Heal, you got stimulus checks. I mean, so many things. I could go on and on and on. So when I started this nonprofit, I realized there's not those types of things to help with these places outside the United States. So I'm going to have to gather what I've learned during corporate America, these 30 plus years. I'm going to have to, put my big girl panties on and make things happen. And so that's what I did. I took what I've learned over my 30 plus years. I took what I've made of because we're resilient people. And I pivot in such a way that has even awed me. I'm in awe of some of the stuff that I've been able to do. So when I sit down and write out what we've done thus far as an organization over these 3 years, sometimes I'm just mind blown. We're currently feeding over 5,000 children several meals a day, where we've adopted 12 schools in Kenya. In addition to that, we pay for all of them to have bioagricultural training. So as opposed to us just feeding them every day, we put them in a position where they can actually feed themselves. So this training that they've gotten, this certification, this is going to outlive me. These are youth, these are children. So as they come into adults, have their own families, those skill sets that they've acquired, they can take that and pass it down to their children and so forth. In addition to that, we have a legacy scholarship where we're actually paying for a young man's education in the Gambia. We partner with the local tea farmers in Kenya, where we employ over 300 Black tea farmers, most of them women. I could go on and on and on and on and on, but had I listened to the naysayers when I first started this international nonprofit back in 2020, I couldn't roll off all the fruit I just mentioned to you, all the fruit that's now on our tree here at Footprints in Africa. I wouldn't be able to have this testimony. So I'm very cognizant of boundaries, but they don't hinder me. I knew that already, but to actually have to act that out and walk that through during a pandemic, you're talking about pivoting. That's pivoting to the third power. So that I learned about myself because I didn't know anything about a pandemic other than the word, so I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do over here in my household. But I had a driving force. I knew I was to start this nonprofit. So this nonprofit has heightened areas in me that were probably dormant, because I can't say they didn't exist because they had to have already been there. Just put a flashlight on things and elevated it. So I'm walking in new territory. This is a new season for me. I've tapped into a new arena, and I'm so excited about what's to come. Do I know all the ins and outs of what's to come? Of course not. Do I know what I want to do as it relates to Footprints in Africa? Most definitely. As a visionary, of course, you know what you want to do. But a lot of times I get ahead of what I'm doing now because I'm already looking at where I want to go. And so I've learned that about myself. I can pivot with the best of them. I can take a lick and keep on ticking. I can take a little of nothing and make something happen, even during a pandemic.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, my last question is, what keeps, the fuel, I know that, you mentioned about, it was not easy. The process wasn't easy, but definitely I wanted to know what really keeps motivating you. I know it's probably the mission but if you can just explore on that, and what really helped you in those moments of stretching, because I know that it's been a journey since 2019, but in those moments of stretching, on the personal level and professional level, what really helps you keep going?
Miss Tammy, you there?
Oh,
Thank you, froze up.
take it frozen. Okay, I'm sure she's
Mhm.
gonna come back.
Yeah.
That's an amazing journey that she
Yes,
just.
it is.
I mean, when you say 2019,
Yeah.
it took a couple years. That look what she has done. And that's a personal commitment. I'm sure. This
Yes.
is a
Yeah.
personal commitment. That's why I
Yeah.
said definitely resilient. We have that spirit. Each
Yes.
one of us, and she's really one example that we will celebrate this month, because
Yes.
it's really a resilience. Because she didn't know the area. She was mentally prepared. I would say that definitely. Wow, that is amazing. She has accomplished so much. Very, very
Yeah. She
excited
said
about
we
that.
frozen.
Oh, she is. I mean, we are.
I
No.
we're talking to each other.
Yes. Maybe she can refresh.
I said go out and come back in.
Mm-hmm. Technology today, but
Yes,
no,
it's
it's
cutting up
okay.
today. Don't want us to talk about this, but we talk about this. This is the
We are
last thing
talking
we
about
do.
it because this is amazing. This is a amazing solution that she's bringing. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
She's a champion, definitely.
yes.
I love that.
I'm trying to.
That is amazing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
is amazing, amazing. And I
yeah,
love the part where she talked about she really, she's a sponge, she wanted
yeah.
really to absorb all the history. I was like
Yes,
that with my grandparents, with my granddad,
yeah.
I always asking questions about the history because I wanted to absorb and
Adore.
learn,
Yeah,
the wisdom, from the elders. So that's something that we have in common with her because I love doing that too. It's
yes,
everywhere I go, I just go, I mean, yeah, I can hang out with the youth and everybody, but I just want to go to the elders and ask her some question about, things, the history and, how they've been, how they experience certain things. Yeah. Even
uh-huh.
for me, I'm really finding very fascinating. That I have my uncle here visiting us, and each opportunity I get, I keep asking him questions about my grandparents, about the history. So I always love to know, the wisdom.
Yeah, because it's I've always wanted to go to Africa. My son, I used to try to go with my son and my husband. They didn't ever want to go, but I said I want to go. I want to go
Right.
visit motherland. I just want to
Mhm.
go because I
Yes,
know that's an experience that you'll never get if you never go.
that's
Because
right.
to learn so much about our history, because we lost a
Mhm.
lot of history
Yeah,
when we came. They came over here, and we should all go and absorb that history. Should all
that's
go
right.
find out.
Mhm. That's right.
So did you enjoy your time yesterday?
Oh, I definitely did. I was a little exhausted, but I was good.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Is she back home?
not
I can
yet.
hear you guys, but my picture's not showing yet. Let's see.
Okay.
It's doing a
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
wonderful. We can
Yeah,
see you
you're
now.
right. Yeah. Yeah. We never did freeze up, but yours did. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
I
sure.
froze up. It got where I couldn't hear her. I was frozen, everything.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So I can just, I can say it again, my question. I can ask it again. So my last question was, I know it wasn't easy, the journey since 2019, your first time when you went to Ethiopia, but I wanted to know what was the fuel, what really keeps you going, especially when, in terms of stretching, on a personal level or professionally, because, I know the journey wasn't easy, but you enjoy it. But what really keeps you going, especially when it was time of stretching?
That's a good question. First of all, I'm a humanitarian at heart. I absolutely love people. You can have one eye, one tooth. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter at all. I absolutely love people. Now, do I like all people? Of course not. But I love the diversity in who we are as a body of people, irregardless to your race. Just having conversations and differences. It's just there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. Um, I think what stretches me the most, though, is legacy, history, um, making my ancestors proud, doing something that's bigger than me.
Yes.
So, as my grandmother would say, when my head goes cold, I know that I've truly made a difference. I've
Yes.
made a difference that will outlast who I am, and where it's not about me is what it boils down to. It's
Right.
not about me at all. It's
Mhm.
about what I can do for others. It's being a living vessel here on earth during this time. And so
Mhm.
that's my go-to. That's what I pull from. That's what I draw from. And so the name of my organization is Footprints in Africa. So although the name came about because of that little girl while I was in the bush, it's twofold. I'm literally leaving footprints in Africa as I do this work. Literally.
Well, since I don't know what you're talking about when you say the bush, what is you talking about? Because I'm not familiar.
Oh, well, thank you for asking. The bush is like rural area.
Mhm,
It's a bunch of trees, um, no grass for the most part,
mhm,
weeds. Most tribal people live in the bush,
mhm,
especially in Ethiopia. There's so many tribes that exist there. It's like no man's lands. They live off the grid. Um, Everything they eat, they hunt. Their houses and stuff are built by hand, like something you would see on TV, National Geographic. So that's the bush. A lot of the locals don't even go up in the bush
mhm,
because there's this myth about when you go up there, you may not make it back because they eat people and all this kind of stuff. Even our bus driver, when I was in Ethiopia, he refused to go any further than such a distance. He stayed at the base of the hill and he said, I'll be here when you guys come back, but I'm not going up there. And I'm one of those folks, I'm spirit led. If it feels good in my spirit, I'm going to run with it. Even
mhm,
I can't see the end results, I'm going to run with it. But if I
mhm,
get uneasy about something and something says, you better not do that, I listen to that, even though I may not know what it's about. I listen to that God given incubator. And we have that for a reason.
yeah.
And so when I went in the bush for 3 days, as I was going up the hill to get to this place, I'm excited about what I'm going to see. I want to know, is it really all they say it is? Are the
Mhm,
people really new? Is it really nomadic? Do
mhm,
they don't have running water and lights and cell phone usage is obsolete there? Is all this stuff really true? I hear what you're saying, but I want to go see for myself. And so that's considered the bush because you're literally in the bush. And
mhm,
once you get beyond those trees, of course, it's cleaned out in the inside. The outer part is the bush. So on the outside looking in, you're going into the bush. Once you get in the inside of it, there's dwellings that have been handmade by tree limbs and sticks and mud and clay and, like I say, things that you would read about or see
mhm.
on National Geographic. So that's affectionately known as the bush.
Okay. All right. Coach Janine, you have any more questions for her?
Yes, maybe just the last one. What would you say, or how would you encourage somebody who wanted to start on the journey, just like yourself as a definitely to me, you are a servant leader. So somebody
Thank
who
you.
also wanted to start it, serving, giving back, what would you recommend or how would you encourage them?
Know your why.
Mm.
Know your why. Know why you're doing what you're doing because you will come across things that will challenge uh, that, the why. And
Mhm,
so if you're not firm on it, if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you won't last. You'll burn out. You'll give up. You'll get easily discouraged. But if you know why you're doing what you're doing, um, there's no stopping you. There's truly no stopping you. But
Absolutely.
anytime you serve, whether it's social entrepreneur, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's working in your local church, whether it's volunteering your time at a nursing home, whatever it is, anytime you're serving on any level, it can't be about awards and accolades.
Yes.
That can't be your why. If that's your why, you in for a rude awakening. It's not going to work. And if it's
Right.
about money, it's not going to work.
Mhm.
It's not. It has to be in your heart to actually serve and make a difference. You may
Okay.
start out gun ho and on fire about something, but if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, it's not going to last.
Yes.
Yes, yes. That's awesome.
Thank
So
you.
you have any upcoming things coming up for Footprints in Africa right now that you'd like to share? Any?
Um, I'm actually getting my first award Labor Day weekend. So yes,
Uh,
I've been recognized by a group in Virginia. It's actually an African group. Um, they are honoring me with an award for doing the work that I'm doing in Africa. I was really surprised when I got the call, but I'm excited about it. I've gotten several awards and accolades because I'm a doer in my community. So I've been recognized several times, but this is my first time being recognized as the founder of Footprints in Africa. So I'm
okay.
very excited about this, very excited about this. And not because it's an award, it's because I took an idea, I took a vision, and I walked it out during a time when most people were scrambling. People were, scared, didn't know what to do next. People were losing their homes and their jobs. And I took an idea, turned it into an international nonprofit. And because of that, I am helping people that I would normally never see. You know, I'm
Mhm.
truly making a difference in someone else's life because I was obedient and I listened to the call and I took action. And so I'm
Mhm.
excited about this award. Um, if I may, we have a core initiative called Preserving the Skilled Craftsmanship of Africa. This is where we house our online marketplace, which is our website, with authentic African items that we buy directly from the locals. This is how we do our part to preserve the skilled craftsmanship in the motherland, because we all know African inspired items are plentiful. You can go to different stores and buy African inspired items. When you flip the tag, the name doesn't say Africa, it says India, China, and all these other places.
Right.
So here at Footprints in Africa, we do not sell African inspired items. We buy authentic things from the locals, only from the locals. In
Yes.
turn, this helps them provide for their families
Mhm.
housing, clothing, food. It makes education possible for their children. So, this core initiative gives in so many ways. We're preserving the skilled craftsmanship of Africa. We're making it possible for the locals to feed their families. And those here in the States get to own a real piece of the motherland. It's truly a win-win. So if you guys would go to our website, shop Alki Boulon, Footprints in Africa's Cultural Emporium. Um, it's truly bigger than us making a sale. It's truly bigger than that. And
Okay.
so we appreciate the support.
Okay. Yes. You can give me the link later, and I'll share it out as well. Because I think
Okay.
that's what connected me to you when I saw that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. 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 Because I seen that part, and I'm thinking this is cool. And then all the work you're doing over there, I think I just got to reach out.
Thank
Yes.
you. I
And
appreciate that.
you did good, Coach Tina. Thank you for reaching out because we definitely going to be, hand by hand supporting her and
Yes.
Yeah.
making
Yes.
sure that people know about amazing work that she's doing. I mean, I'm just like,
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
awesome.
Yes.
you. I appreciate that. I truly
Yes,
appreciate that, guys. You
Yes.
yes,
just don't know how much it means to me to get phone calls and
yes.
inbox messages from folks, out of state. We do a
Mhm.
shoe drive every year called Souls for Africa. It goes from April through June, 3 consecutive months. We got shoes from Texas, from New York, from Georgia. I live in South Carolina. These people don't
Yeah.
know me on a personal level. We were
Yeah.
getting boxes left and right. And of course, we have community partners here in the upstate where I live. So we get a lot of shoes every year. But to get folks on the outside that don't know me personally, such as yourself, reach out and say, how can I help? I want you on my show. What do you need from us? It
Mhm.
really means the world to me. It truly means the world to me. I don't have a problem with doing the work. I don't have a problem with going the distance, which is our tagline. But
Mhm.
I know I have sense enough to know that I cannot do this work without the support of others. So again, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I I think we should share each other. We should always do that, support each
Yeah,
other.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. So do you have any final words that you would like to share, Ms. Tammy?
We will be taking a group to Ethiopia next year. And so we'll roll that out and we'll get the community involved. So if anybody wants to travel with us, the itinerary along with the cost to do so will be out there. That's going to be an annual thing that we do starting next year. We may even do 2 trips a year. I'm not sure about that, but we're definitely starting with Ethiopia because it's the original Africa, the beginning of all mankind, the beginning of all civilization. Not my word. It's in the Bible, you know.
Yeah.
They have the skeletal remains in their museum to prove it. The first person dates back as far as 500 BC, Ethiopia. And so if you go anywhere in Africa, which we hear a lot about Ghana and South Africa, and all those places are beautiful, but don't cheat yourself. You got to go to the original Africa, which is Ethiopia. So I think it's important that we start people out with traveling there first. That's going to be the first trip that we offer. We'll do more in Africa, of course, but Ethiopia is going to be the first one that we offer. And we would love for you guys to join us, the listeners out there to join us. I can't put into words what that experience will be like for you. You would have to come and see for yourself. I think you'll be blown away, truly blown away.
Okay.
In a good way, blown away.
Okay, Coach Janine, you have any final words?
Yes, please join Miss Tammy in whatever she's doing. She's putting in, go and check her website, because this is what really we're celebrating this month, which is a Black Business Month. And I really, really encourage everybody to be able to check her out and reach out to her, reach out to Coach Tina, because we are all coming together to work with one another. So that's really my last word. Again, thank you for sharing again your powerful story, Miss Tammy, and we're going to be in touch with you.
Thank you. I appreciate the both of you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate both of y'all coming on. I'm inspired by both of y'all. So I'm honored to have y'all both on. And I will if you ever want to come back on and talk about some anything initiative you have coming up, or you are welcome to come back and talk about that initiative. And also we are hosting. We are both hosting a Black. It's called. I thought I was going to do a Black Excellent Gala, but I didn't. It didn't go through. So I'm going to do a virtual event. It's going to be Black Business Month, but it's going to be honorees. So we're going to honor our guest speakers. So if you're welcome to come on and be a guest and be honored that day, as well as going to be Sunday, August the 27th at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Okay, send me the information.
Yeah.
Send me that. I think you may have mentioned something in Messenger, but I didn't get the gist of it. I saw the Black Excellence Gala is what I saw.
That's what that's what it originates from. So but it's we're gonna be honoring the speaker's gonna come on and talk about it's Black Excellent, Black Business Month. So they'll talk whatever they want to talk about for as their Black Excellent, what they're doing in the community and that kind of thing. And then I honor them with a certificate.
Okay. Nice.
We would love for you to join. Yeah, we love to have you.
Yeah, you have my email information, so shoot me the details on that. Let me look at my calendar, because if I can actually make it happen, I would love to. And it's going to be virtual, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so who's in Texas?
We both in Texas.
We both in Texas. Okay. Yeah, both of us.
Nice. Yeah. This has truly been a pleasure, ladies. We definitely have to keep in touch.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes, we will. All right. Thank y'all. Have a good night. Night. I say night, day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Let's stop.